Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you guys, one second. Hi, so sorry about that. I need to compose myself. I have a video coming up on how I'm going to be styling my hair when it's cooler, because I'm going to need an brush and a few things on the way, but that's a different video. Today's video is going to be a very educational video. A subscriber of mine basically wants to know how many appointments you have with a gender clinic, and usually that's around about 2 to 3 depending on the progress that they're seeing that you're making. Now for me, I only required 3 appointments, but I went to the gender clinic back in 2012, so I only had to fill in the spaces. They already diagnosed me years ago, so basically I already had my diagnosis, but I had to get a full diagnosis again to basically say that I had gender dysphoria. But if you've already had your first appointment, and I know the subscriber has had their first appointment, congratulations by the way, but if you think the first appointment is basically dead abrasive, where they go into detail and they dig into the nitty gritty, you better brace yourself for your second appointment. They're going to do exactly the same thing that they did in your first appointment, and they are going to be asking about, do you get wet dreams? They are going to be asking, do you have a partner? How do you guys have sex? Do you feel comfortable when you have sex? And they are going to ask you basically what you want from the gender clinic. Hopefully they're going to ask you, what is it you want? If you are seeking hormones, before any of this, you need to be committed. Now back in 2012, physically I was ready, mentally I wasn't. And what you guys need to be aware of, and this new subscriber, is if you change your name, show documentation as basically proof, and bring that to your second appointment, because this is where they want to see the basically commitment from you. You do not need to dress fancy for frick's sake. A lot of people, they ask the gender clinic, do I need to come in a dress? Do I need to come in this? Do I need to come in that? No. You only need to come as yourself. If you're feeling, if you want to wear a dress, wear a dress. If you basically want to walk in jeans and a pair of freaking boots, wear them. Just as long as you're comfortable. But what you've got to realise is, with your second appointment, when they are asking you what you want, if you want hormones, they are going to ask you, do you want children? And if you say yes, like I did, they will ask you, do you want to store your sperm? Now, storing your sperm costs us this. I don't know if you can get it on the NHS, but I know it costs us quite a bit of money. For me, that wasn't an option. I told them that, and I even told them that on my third appointment. And in your first appointment, you'll have one doctor, which I believe is going to be your main doctor, you see. Then you'll have a different doctor on your second appointment. Then you most probably will have a combination of 2 on your third appointment. Mine was different, completely different. I had a doctor called Laura, hopefully I first seen. Then I was supposed to have seen my doctor, which is Dr. Nick, on my second appointment. Otherwise I would have been on hormones way earlier, but that got changed because he wasn't in, and that so I got seen by a different doctor, and then I got my original doctor on my third appointment. But that's how it goes basically. you'll see one main doctor, then another one, and then most probably a combination of them both together, because they both have to assess you and to diagnose you. But if it's hormones you are seeking, be prepared, because they usually sign you up for hormones on your third appointment. Sometimes it can be your second, it depends how much progress you've made. But they will require a blood test either on your second or third appointment. Mine was on my second, and I am saying your second appointment will be where to get your bloods tested, so they can basically choose which prescription to give you that will work for your blood type, if that makes any sense at all. But if you are getting prescribed hormones, because like I said, I'm going to say to now, your first, second and third appointment is going to be very similar. They're going to go down the same route, and what they're looking for is consistency in what you are saying and how you are feeling. And it is better if you have knowledge about hormone replacement therapy. I knew quite a bit of it, and do your research. Roughly, you need to know certain side effects. Now here's the nitty gritty. Spinal, if you've seen a video of someone with the blood blocker called spironolactone, or however you pronounce it, that is not an official NHS one. It's not through the NHS. That is either a private one, or they've gone and brought their hormones from online. Spironolactone is not a proper NHS one here in Nottingham. What they provide here in Nottingham for a blocker is Dectapeptyl, which you can have in pill, gel or injection. I choose to get the injection more because it gets injected in the butt, which is basically in your bum. It's not a nice feeling, but thing is, it gets it done and it gets quicker into the blood system. Hormones can come in basically, and blockers can come in pill, gel or injection, and they will basically assess if which is better for you. Now the prescription I'm on is, where are you? Dectapeptyl, which is my injection, which I've just recently had, and you get that done by your doctor. I am on estradiol lactate. Now, like I said, this will depend on your blood type. With they says estradiol lactate will be perfect for my body count, blood and stuff of it will work pretty good for me. But here in the UK, this is mainly what they use. Sometimes they'll use a different type of estrogen for you, but it depends on your bloods. And you will first start out at 1 milligram, and they will not provide you a blocker. Here in the UK, it works completely different than it does in other places. They will not give you a blocker straight away. They will want to see your bloods on basically when you start hormones. They will start you off on 1 milligram of estrogen. They will not give you a blocker, and you will be on that blocker for 3 whole months. And then what you need to do is, when you first have your month's dose, you need to go and get your bloods done at the end of that month. But do not take any medication before you have your bloods done, because that can raise your estrogen and raise your levels, which is not good. And then what they will do on your appointment next, they will assess if you need to go up in dose. They will assess if you need a blocker. If your estrogen goes up and your blocker doesn't go down, you will need a blocker. Now, if you were like me, my testosterone naturally went down twice, but it wasn't fast enough, so I had to have the aid of a blocker. Now my testosterone completely vanished. But they will also, before you are even they will give you your diagnosis, right, basically on your third appointment, and that is your official certificate in one sense, or certificate as you call it, but it's just them just saying it. But that's them just saying, yes, you have gender dysphoria, roughly, and we can validate that and we can see that, as long as you're providing proof, roughly, that you are living your life and you are not regretting anything, because there are loads of basically people out there that, you know, don't understand transgender people and they're like, oh, you'll regret it. But they don't really know that the count of people who regret transitioning is 0.3% of people. So that's very minimal. And not a lot of trans people regret it. I don't regret it. I mean, I'm so much happier. But once you've got that diagnosis, they will give you a piece of paper before you sign it away, roughly, because you have to sign this piece of paper that declares that you know the side effects of what can happen when you go on hormones, and basically you are signing away, roughly, that if something goes wrong, they're not responsible. It's basically them covering their backs. But this is it. And this for me has been in storage for 8 months, nearly 9 months. So yeah. And this is your information about hormones, and it's also a declaration. Let me cover my doctor's name. Okay. There we go. And it's just saying roughly that you understand the hormone treatment that will affect your sex drive. Basically, hormones will increase breast growth, fat distribution, and basically you will become less muscular. I can vouch for that. Now, one thing you need to know, hormones does not change your feet size, and it does not change your voice. If you want voice vocal coaching, you can get that on the NHS, and you can get laser hair removal. Okay, yeah, more for that. And you need to look out for roughly, if I could get STD advisor card. But the thing is, one thing you have to always check is your legs. And what I mean is the back of your legs, because you have to check for blood clots. Because with going on estrogen and blocker, you are putting yourself at risk of getting blood clots. And this will be explained to you and that lot. And when I was signing away in that lot, he was like, oh, do you have any questions about the hormones? And I said to him, I said, yeah. I said, is it spironolactone roughly that you use? And he went, yeah. He said, I see you've done your research. He says, that's not a proper one. It's not a proper blocker, it's a blood thinner. And the one that they use, which is Decapeptyl, it's somehow basically, I can't remember how it works. I think it just slows the rate of it down, or it completely stops it, just like that. I know it works something like that. I'm not completely thingy about it, roughly. But you will notice, I mean, the appointments are pretty straightforward. But the thing is, when you go on your first dose of 1 milligram, you will notice that your changes are going to be slow. In fact, they're going to be very slow until basically you either get a blocker or your testosterone drops down just like that. And this happened to me. I kept getting depressed because my changes were super slow, super slow. When I first started, I was on 1 milligram. I first started noticing that my face was changing shape and that I was getting itchy breasts, a little bit of fat distribution. Now it's a lot more. They will prescribe you 1 milligram, then they will prescribe you 2, and then once that 2 milligram, once they've checked your next blood, like I said, you'll have to have it on the first month of basically when you have your new hormone dose. You will have to have your blood taken. Do not take any medication whatsoever, and then they will check that out, and if it's gone down naturally or if it hasn't, they will prescribe a blocker, and you'll be going up to 3 milligram, which is where I am. I'm on 3 milligram in the morning and 2 at night. My next appointment is in December, and one thing you really should know is if you are going on hormones, your appointment dates will be from 3 to 6 months to a year. This entire process, people think it's just like a 1-2 step process. It is not. It's a quite lengthy process. It can take up to a year to nearly 2 years to complete, and that is just trying to get on hormones, because they can tell the difference between someone who is questioning and someone who is trans, and they know straight away. As soon as they first seen me, they knew I was transgender, and they knew exactly one day they would see me again. And I remember when I went to my 3rd appointment, and my doctor asked me, Dr. Nick, he said to me, he said, what is it, what you want? He says, and I know exactly what it is. And I says, I want to be on hormones. I says, I want my life to start. And he says, right, he says, I'm going to officially diagnose you. He diagnosed me, and he says, this is basically the 2nd or 3rd time that we've diagnosed you. He says, but this is official. He says, right, read this piece of information about hormones and then sign away. And I could not stop smiling. That's what people don't get, is when you've achieved something in life, hopefully, and you're so happy, you have this great big smile that will not come off, and you have to wait a whole month for an entire letter for an appointment or your prescription to come that you have to give to your doctor, and that's not even going near about the freaking doctor. Hopefully you have a lengthy process, because some doctors will accept it, some will not. My doctor knew fuck all. When I first went on hormones, I was battling with a doctor that says that I needed to basically get more testosterone in my body, and then I finally found a doctor finally came on and says to me, he says, right, he says, I know exactly what you are. He says, I read your notes quickly, and he says, I don't get why none of the other doctors are basically reading on your notes on your computer, and he knew exactly where I needed to be. But the thing is, there's not much I really can say about hormones. I mean, commitment is a big part, and I say this so much because it really is. You have to show you are committed. If you are not committed, they're not just going to hand you over your hormones on a fucking silver platter. You have to provide documentation that proves that you have been living as your chosen gender, that who you really are is who you really are, and you are not looking back. On my next appointment, we are talking laser hair removal, which clinic I'm choosing to go to, and surgery, and I'm going the full way. Now, one thing to know on hormones, if you are going on them, is you are not going to know your cup size if you are a trans female. It all depends on your family's genetics. Now, in my family's genetics, since they've been teens, they all have had big breasts. Every single one of them. There's only one person that hasn't, and that's my auntie. Now, you get half of what your mother and your sisters have, and my mother is a 52F. My sisters for either a E cup, I believe, or double D, I don't remember. And that lot. So right now I'm basically at a B cup. This is a slow process. Now, if I've missed anything, please let me know in the description and I will make another video. But this is just the basics by accident.